this one, we got 21 pages, and then we've got following that 20 pages of loan contract goodness. So this is where we also don't want to create homework for our customers too. So if we can walk it through with them, then that just makes life easier here. So I will start flying, but just jump in with any questions. So yeah, all these contracts, we got a cover page, and then we've got a summary page. And so just typical stuff: name, address, phone number, production, start to get into some of the equipment specifics, additional equipment. And so like what we're going to see often is that D rate, just a main breaker D rate. Touched on that some, but more importantly is the curb monitoring, the whole home monitoring, and then the Solar Edge extended warranty. And so that, a lot of people use Solar Edge, a whole lot of people use Solar Edge, but if they don't pay extra for the extended warranty, those only come with a 12-year warranty. We always extend it out to 25 years for our customers. So that is good. Payment and price on the deal. So that's always going to outline it. And again, it'll clarify whether that deal was financed or if it was a cash deal, at which point cash deal is going to detail their progress payments here. For the contract, again, front and center for folks that, we've got a 25-year warranty across the board, which is oftentimes longer than what other solar companies do. We detail our time frame around our completion. It's more around hey, we're not going to take forever to get this thing done. We're also incentivized to get it installed quickly because we don't get paid till it's installed. And then like any contract, we've got standard definitions. And so it just outlines what typical phrases are throughout, but all pretty self-explanatory. T's and C's. So scope of work, really what I do, I don't, unless somebody wants to go through line by line, I'll typically just summarize things for them and put it into more plain English rather than legalese. And so scope of work is that we're going to install the panels, we're going to pull the permits, we're going to provide a warranty, we're going to try to do it as quickly as possible. We are not going to go take out trees for you or cut your grass or fix a broken structure, random outside stuff like that. That's not our responsibility. We're always going to work with professional workmanship and obviously pull permits. We've got licensed contractors on staff, et cetera, et cetera. Delays, this is more, this will get referenced again in a force majeure clause, which is really just an act of God clause. And so things may be outside of our control. Customer gives us consent to get on the property to put the panels up. That should be self-explanatory, but lawyers, we got to put it in there. Same with access. We need property site access to be able to get there. And then they're agreeing to let us do a site inspection. It's not always required, but sometimes we do need a site survey shortly after the system is sold, just to make sure we got all of our bases covered. And then we're always going to let them know, if we need to show up, we're gonna let them know. We're typically not showing up unannounced. Nor are we removing hazardous materials, and that should be also self-explanatory. Price detail on the first page, but again, all the work that's being done is for the price previously detailed. And where applicable, finance jobs are run through the finance company, but a cash job, we referenced the progress payments before, but they get detailed again here. And so for any cash job, it's an upfront deposit. Most states it's $2,000, but like here in California, you can't take more than $1,000 deposit. So that one's different here. Final payment's always $1,000, and then we just split evenly the second and third payment between those two. Late fees, accrue interest, work commencement. And so again, we always want to get work going quickly once we've got permits in hands. All right. Guaranteed completion too. So again, when we have permits, that's really our go ahead to get something on the schedule. Usually it's about maybe week 2, 3 or so, depending on the territory and backlog, to get something on the schedule. But for us, you know, our jobs are usually pretty squeaky clean when they get initially sold and into the funnel. And so, you know, we tend to get our install dates booked earlier, and a lot of times tentative installs based on a permit approval. So we don't usually have to wait until a permit's in hand to then get it on the schedule. We're oftentimes shaving time off the process to get that going earlier, which is great. Right to cancel. So this is more around changed conditions. So we'll see on both these agreements, a customer always has a 3-day right to cancel, just a standard cooling off period. But they also have a right to cancel if something changes, like if we showed up and we can't fit the same size system, or we find that they need a panel upgrade and we didn't realize that earlier. Really, if anything changes on this, the customer would have to sign a new agreement. If they don't like that new agreement, they feasibly can cancel. And so that's part of why you guys remember the other day when I was talking about, like, even looking at an electric panel, trying to get a sense of, like, is this thing good or bad, or do we need a replacement? Like, we want to try to build in as much stuff up front as we can to make sure that this clause doesn't get exercised. We don't want to go having to get change orders signed, deal with all this, because it's just a potential for a customer to back out. Warranty, 25 years. So material, construction, workmanship, like it's a full wrap on this warranty. And, you know, naturally they'd have exclusions with it. So we don't want people modifying, altering, repairing, like all this sort of stuff. If you go take a hammer to the panels, that's not warranty, right? Repair and replacement. So we've got a dedicated set of service crews, and so really just call in if somebody needs any sort of service work, repair work. We can get that handled for folks. So I would say give us first right of refusal. Roof penetration warranty. This is a critical one. So we have a 25-year warranty. So everywhere we have to put the mounts into the roof, we have to screw into the actual roof structure to attach the system to the house. We warranty those penetrations for 25 years. So this is usually the longest in the industry. A lot of companies will warranty something for some shorter amount of time. That's good for you all in your sales. And again, connections and assembly warranty spelled out as well for 25 years. And similar for our own damage. Like if we were out there and broke something on the system or on the house, we would cover that too. Standard exclusions here in bold. Warranty breach. Again, this gets into normal legalese. I don't have to drag you guys through the mud on this right now. Contact info. So, you know, if anybody had a warranty claim, they can call the main line or email the service department, or, you know, if they were so inclined, they could mail into the main office, which this is the main office in Mesa. So we want to make sure their service needs get addressed. A warranty is transferable. And so, you know, if that customer sells the house, they'd want to reach out to us regardless and let us know, like, hey, I'm going to sell the property. You know, do you have any materials that I can show the new buyer? And how do I transfer my warranties, right? That's a good practice for people. And so, yeah, let us know. And there's actually a form that can be filled out to transfer that warranty. Force majeure is a legal way of saying act of God. And so this is just another case of like things outside of our control, crazy weather, COVID restrictions, again, things like that could cause delays, and again, outside of control. And then default in case of either party. So like if we were to go into default, like reasons what that would cause, and then a customer's remedies if we did go in default. Same thing for the customer in cases where they would be in default to us, and then our remedies to them or directed toward them in that case. So again, standard legalese there. And then here, if a customer defaulted on the agreement, damages that would be due if we were to pursue those. Indemnity or indemnification is another way to say hold harmless, and so we are each indemnifying each other in this case. And then damages, more damages, dispute resolution. So kind of ramping in severity of, if there's a dispute, let's try to work it out directly. And if that doesn't work, let's go to small claims. And if that doesn't work, we'll go to arbitration. And then, that's kind of the final straw at that point. And this is an Arizona agreement. And so it's got Arizona specific statutes. Other states have their own specific contract and their own specific statute. So like for Florida, contract's slightly different. But for the most part, it's the same outside of just any state specific clauses. The loan agreement we'll go over next has all the different state clauses in one agreement. And so most of it's not applicable except for the state you're in. A 3-day right of rescission. Again, we'll see 2 forms referenced later in this agreement, but we have to outline it legally here. And again, how to get a hold of us on the service side if anything is needed. Common question too around expansion and relocation. So if somebody does want to increase their system size or move it somewhere else, we would have first right of refusal on that work. And if they want to, let us know. We can quote it out and they could see if they want to go forward with it. And then tax obligation. So a customer is responsible for any taxes owed on this. A lot of times solar is tax exempt, but sometimes it is required. And so that'd be their responsibility. And then as well, like we're not tax professionals. And so that'd be on them to make sure that they understand any tax implications. And then we never guarantee savings. Sometimes sketchy solar companies will be like, oh yeah, it's guaranteed to save you money. Like they can't guarantee anything. You can guarantee the workmanship. Sometimes companies will guarantee performance, but you can't control how much power a customer uses. You can't control utility rates. You can't control the weather, so you can't control savings, but we have to call that out. Same thing about representations on tax credits and whatnot. We are not legal professionals, nor are we CPAs. And then general provisions are, again, this is all pretty standard legalese here. And so typical stuff. These are more Arizona specific statutes, and then the entire agreement. So this just shows that this constitutes the full agreement. No verbal agreements are taken into account. So a customer would sign. Thank you for being powered by Titan. That's very exciting. This form, the next form, are the 3-day right of rescissions. If somebody wanted to exercise that right to cancel, they'd fill it out and return it. And then last page is just a DocuSign completion.